Okay, cool. Letting them in.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Mitchell, and it is great to be welcoming you to Thrive this evening. For those of you who were expecting Barry, surprise, it is not Barry. You have me tonight. Unfortunately, Barry was called out. So yeah, just really excited that you've got actually myself and Sully that we're going to be helping with just some key tips around communication in your business, and communication both sort of with your clients and then also communication in terms of social media. So welcome. It is great to have you join us this evening. And Sully, why don't you say hello?
Good evening, everybody. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing good. Super excited to be here tonight. It's always fun to be on Thrive. And yeah, this is a very interesting topic, so I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, so as always, we want to make it as interactive as possible. So, you know, if you're watching on Facebook, we'd love to see your comments and questions. And for those of you in the Zoom room, we would love to hear from you. So, yeah, essentially, the first thing is, what is communication? So that would be the first question I'd ask you is what is communication? And I don't know if anybody wants to answer that. Anybody willing to give it a go? Yeah, Reti.
Isn't that the exchange of information? It can be speaking, it can be body language, it can be how you look at things, the communication.
Great, thank you. Yeah, give her a hand. Well done, Reti. Anybody else want to comment on what communication is? Okay, so pretty much communication is the single most important tool that we have for projecting an idea or something forward. And pretty much in order, anything you want to have or do or create or anything, communication is I believe, and that single most important tool for projecting something forward. So it's a key tool in business, in life, in absolutely everything that we do. And Shalene says imparting or exchanging information. So yeah, I mean, it could be anything from an exchange of goods and services to information, communication, products, anything. So yeah, I mean, it's communication can happen verbally, it can happen physically, mentally, and spiritually. It happens on all four levels. So it's important to just be aware that yeah, communication works on all the different levels. And I mean, for me, I'm really, really excited because Sully's going to be talking a little bit around communication on social media. Because when we look at communication, the first thing is that you know, you've got to have a source point, so a starting point. And so if you look at and I'll just draw this out for you. You've got to have a point to start off from. When you start to communicate with somebody, the first thing is it's coming from somewhere. And a lot of times people are trying to communicate and they're not even ready to deliver the communication themselves. And I mean, I was on a webinar today and sound started coming out of the speakers and it was from somewhere else completely differently, and it had nothing to do with the call that we were on. But somebody was communicating into our webinar, and we had no idea where it was coming from. So it didn't mean anything. It was useless information because it was communication that was coming through on the speakers that was not connected to what we were doing. It wasn't connected to anything. And in that case, it just became a complete distraction. All it did was distract because nobody knew where it was coming from, and it was just sounds. And so it's just such a key thing to be aware of when we start to communicate. It's coming from somewhere, and that communication, where is it going to? And are you aware of where that communication is actually going to? So, you know, in terms of social media, we've got our A is directing, source point A is sending communication to source point B. And when we communicate verbally, we're doing the same thing. So when I teach communication, I always look at it as source point A, are they ready? Are they present? Are they ready to deliver the communication? So an example would be if I'm standing here and I'm distracted by the sound and what's happening outside and a whole lot of other things, I'm not ready to deliver communication to all of you on this call. And I could be distracted and I'm trying to do stuff over here and I'm trying to communicate to you. I'm not ready, therefore the communication is not going to be great. So the first thing is are you source point A? If that was me, am I clear that I'm ready to deliver the communication? Then where am I sending the communication to? Is that person ready? Are they ready to receive the communication? And it's such a key thing that I see happening today, and social media is one of the worst places that you see it, is that person ready to receive the communication? And we send out emails, we send out WhatsApps, and we kind of go, is that person ready? And we're going, they haven't replied, they haven't responded. Why haven't they responded? Were they even ready to receive the communication? Did they even receive it? I mean, I've had people call me up and say, you didn't respond to my message, you read it and you didn't reply. And I'm like, I don't actually remember reading it. I may have opened it, but I didn't read it. So I wasn't ready to receive it. And the same would be true as if I'm standing having a conversation with somebody and they're not listening to me because they're on their phone or they're typing on their laptop. They are not ready to receive the communication. So they are not present. So it's such an important thing in communication is, one, are you ready to deliver the communication? And then two, is the person on the other end ready to receive it? And I know, Sully, you have some great stories around Facebook and social media and delivering communication. So
yeah, I think you make such a great point, and it's just for social media as a starting point almost. That's what happens with a lot of people, right? So not people, but small business owners and entrepreneurs. So they start these Facebook pages and these Instagram pages, and then they are now point A, and they realize, ooh, I'm not ready to put out content because one, I'm afraid of the camera, or two, whatever the reasonings might be, my friends and family are going to see this, and what are they going to think? So then they don't ever get to point B, which is getting the communication out to their potential customer. And then they kind of sit and they wonder, well, why is that happening? Well, I mean, you're not really communicating with people, right? And I think that's one of the most important things with social is really understanding, one, what you're communicating, and two, who you're communicating to, right? Like, so for example, I'm sure you guys have seen, when you're driving, there's just billboards everywhere. There's billboards of this and billboards of that. That's a lot of communication that you're getting, right? So what's now happened is, imagine that quadrupled on social media, because now that's what we are able to do, right? We are now able to run so many targeted ads at specific people and say, this is what you're going to get. This is what we're going to communicate to you. So you get this communication overload. So what do? You don't make a decision, right? So in truth, when it comes to communicating on social, one, you got to be clear. Be clear about what you communicate. And two, know who you are talking to. When you know who you are talking to, and you can, sort of the process that Barry has taught many of you in terms of problem, benefit, solution, close. It's the same on social. And I'm not saying that you have to, like, I think a thing where people get it confused is they try and do that all in one post. Problem, solution, benefit, benefit, close in one post. I don't even have time to sit here and listen to your whole pitch. So I'm not ready to receive your communication. And you are now missing that part. But if you start with the problem, something super simple, whatever your business is, whatever problem it is that your business solves, if that's your first post, boom. Tuesday, your second post can be the benefit, boom. You can literally, for the whole day, just run content like that. But the problem is we want to do it all at once, and we just end up flooding people with so much information that people freak out, and then they just scroll away because it's like, nah, I don't want to see that. That's just too much. And so you've got to figure out how you're going to communicate to people. Like I was actually just thinking earlier about a story where Barry and I put out this video called "The Cup Is Breaking," and we were talking about South Africa and how us as South Africans, like just people in general, we break the rules, right? But then we also want to hold governments accountable, but we can't hold ourselves accountable. And this guy came back, and it was a video of Barry, and this guy came back and he commented, "Aren't you just a rocket scientist?" So I was like, I don't understand what you mean. What do you? And his basic response was, "We all know that, so why are you telling us this?" But I then realized that not everybody knows that. Some people are oblivious to the fact that they're not accountable for what they do. So in truth, I'm not communicating to you. I'm communicating to the people who don't know that, who can't look at themselves and hold themselves accountable. And that's for me, one thing I realized early on there was that, okay, if we know who we're communicating to, we can very easily bypass those people that we don't need to be communicating to because they're not our target audience. They're not who is going to stick with us long term. So yeah, that's really one of the most important things in communicating online, on social, is who are you communicating to and what are you communicating to them.
Yeah, thank you, Sully. And it's such a great point because I think especially in business and entrepreneurship, a lot of people are communicating a whole lot of stuff and they're not actually sure what it is that they should be communicating and to who they're communicating. And the same is true we see it in life in terms of, when you pick up the phone to make a cold call, one, are you ready? Are you ready to make that sales call? Are you clear on what you're going to say? Are you clear on what you're going to say to the client? Have you written up a script? Because and these are things that Barry's taught me time and time again. It's just, one, I'm ready. Am I clear on what I'm going to say? If I'm not clear, can I practice beforehand on what I'm going to say? Because there's not. How many of you have ever experienced that? I had a call today, and a guy calls me and he says, my name is X, and I'm phoning you from this organization. And then he went on and on and on about how they do financing and they buy creditors stuff and all this stuff. And I'm like, you lost me at you buy creditors. I don't get it. And he's like, oh, do you have, if you can just give me sort of 20 minutes of your time for me to explain what I do. And I'm like, dude, I don't have 20 minutes. Thanks. Goodbye. And honestly, and because his pitch was so complicated, I had no idea what he was telling me. So when you pick up the phone to phone your customer, are you clear on what it is that you're going to say? Are you clear on what it is that you're going to be promoting or selling, or what your next step is for that client? Yeah, Reti.
I just realized today I was working on the elevator pitch, and I realized I wasn't clear on what I'm going to say because I was more trying to get all the information over to the client. instead of with the elevator pitch, it just keeps it very basic. And then it also gives me more time to ask the questions to get to know the client. So yeah, that applies to me today.
Thank you very much. And you bring up such a valuable point, because most of the time, all you're doing is getting the customer's attention for a short period of time so you can get into their world. So you can find out what it is that they need and what they want. And so it's just, are you clear? And like Sully brought out such a great point around social media is, have you got content to deliver? Do you know what that content is? And when you start doing that, it's such a key thing. And it's something I learned from him on the webinar that he did with Barry a little while ago, was just when you start on social media, are you clear on what your content is? So are you ready to start delivering your content? And then 2, who's your audience? And are they ready? You know, and just, and I know, Sully, you and I had this conversation today, is that I've got quite a following on my Facebook page, and I'm not utilizing it. And, you know, there's a lot of people there that are just sitting there and I'm not mining, I'm not doing anything with. And so maybe you could share some tools and techniques around that, and just having people being aware of what's actually there.
Yeah, I mean, that's like just in terms of our conversation today, and I think it's something that I've been thinking about as well quite a bit, just how much everything is a piece of content, right? And it depends on how you look at it and how you are then willing to communicate. Like, so for example, I look at, you know, Retty and Fiona, and, you know, I think it was like 2 weeks ago when they decided to do the video challenge and they stuck to it. That the amount of value that's going to add to them when it comes to doing content for their businesses is going to be immense, because they now know how to commit to a process of being at point A. Okay, so I need to do content. What does this content look like? Right? And I think that's where that number, for most people, small to medium-sized businesses and entrepreneurs, the main question is, well, what content am I going to create? I think that at the end of the day, you've got to create content that you feel comfortable with. I can really say to you, I can give you all the ins and outs and say, look, video is the way to go. It is the way to go because that's what the platforms want. But if you're not comfortable with video, cool, give you another tool, 21-day video challenge. You don't want to do that, fine. You need to sit down and go, what type of content can I create? Can I write something up? Right? So can I write up a quick little article about a day in the life of my business? This is what we did today as a team in my business. You may not think people would find that interesting, but the things that people find interesting on social media right now is crazy. And in truth, there is a market for everybody. There's like too many people say, well, there's way too many people there. There might be, but you may be able to connect with those people in a different way. Your story may be different, right? And that's also the great thing about video. Video now allows people to actually see. They now can see who you are. They can feel your emotion, right? So I'm sure, I don't know if you guys have ever seen a video ad on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever your platform of choice is. If that video ad doesn't connect with you in like the first 20 seconds, you're going to scroll past it. Unless it's something of interest, like if it's like puppies or all those cute things, people are fine to stay on. But when it now says, learn how to do X, you're like, I really don't feel like learning how to do X. But that might be the thing that saves you. The problem is that it didn't engage you the way you wanted to be engaged. And that's just the bottom line. Some people like the pizzazz, you know, some people do, and that's, you see a lot of pages like that are out there of, hey, I became a millionaire doing this. You could do it too. Hey, for some people that works. For what could work for you could actually just be authentically yourself and communicating in a way that people can actually see, oh, okay, this is a real person that is actually trying to run their business, trying to put food on their table. People connect with that. And that is one of the best ways that I've picked up in terms of really communicating through video, is just really being authentic with people, because it really is tough to pick up mood and emotion and tone through copy, right? Just through an article, for example. You could do it with an image by adding things to the image, but now you're gonna have to get somebody to design that image for you. With a video, guess what? You can do it on your phone. Or as we can all see, everybody, for example, on this call and probably watching on Facebook has a PC and Zoom. You can record it on Zoom. You've now got your piece of content and you're now ready to communicate with the world, get it out there. I think, and that's one of the main things is that if you're gonna allow yourself to communicate to yourself on why you can't do it, then you can't. But if you can communicate to yourself on why you can, you will. And that's just the way you've got to look at it. And it seems daunting at the beginning, but once you get it going, it becomes an extremely beneficial arm to your business, because you can start to reach different people in different parts of the world on different platforms. So it is a important tool, but you've also got to be ready to do it.
Awesome. Thank you, Sully. And then just once you've delivered that communication, just when we start to look at communication, when you're talking to somebody, you have the you're present, they're present, you deliver a communication to them, and now are you ready to what's going to come back at you? Because sometimes that person has to go to access a whole lot of stuff in their mind before they can give you a response. So if you ask me, hey, do you want to go out for dinner on Saturday night? I'm going to go. So you ask me, I've got that question. Now I've got to access in my mind, well, what am I doing on Saturday night? Do I have a business webinar? Do I have a function? Why are you asking me what I'm doing on Saturday night? And there's a whole lot of different things that are going through my mind. And so it's important that you give people time to unpack all the little voices and all the questions that are going through their mind. And then I'm going to access that, and then I am going to give a response back to you. So one of the things here in business, we call it time, timing, and lag. So when you're posting stuff on social media, there's a time frame and there's a lag time. And in sales, there's a lag time. And it's important to understand that time is different from everybody. And so just when you start to, Sully, what's the average time on posts that you're seeing some of your biggest hit rates?
In truth, like, so for Uncovering Greatness, my lead time my best time is probably 7 a.m. If I can be getting content out at 7 a.m., it usually, in the first probably 2 hours, an hour to 2 hours, we can look at about 10 shares. And then it starts to dip down, right? But for me, that's because of really understanding when my audience is online and communicating to them when they are there. So a lot of people just post for this. So you have one that's posting for the sake of posting, and two, following people who say to you, this is the best time to post. I don't know what the best time to post for your audience is. So I can't actually say that to you. We can only make that decision up once we've been able to see it. Your audience may be online at 11 p.m. They may be insomniacs. I don't know that. But I can only find that out once I look at the analytics, and then I can actually give that information to them and be like, okay, cool. I'm going to now deliver content to you guys at 11 p.m. because that's when you're online, and you have a much better chance of actually getting what you're looking for. And I think that's a real key when it comes to posting and knowing what times to post and communicating to your audience.
Yeah, and then Sully, when you put out a post, what is the time of that people see that post? Like, you know, sometimes people will see the post a week later or 2 days later, or, you know, in terms of that. So what is your like lag time as well on posts?
That one is its own beast, because if you have, for example, something like hashtags attached to it and a hashtag comes back. So we've had posts that have come back. So something got popular again and that hashtag was trending. The uptake of that post comes back because now new people are starting to see it. So people are searching, for example, for entrepreneurship. That piece comes back again. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, I posted this like 4 months ago. I even forgot about it. But and that's also another important thing to have is those hashtags, because those are things that they last. They last for a very long time on social. But in truth, most lag time that I see when people like, and let me actually say our community. If I post something at 7 a.m., I will probably get the majority of our communities having seen that piece of content probably by about 12 p.m., that one piece of content. So it could take them close to 6 hours to see content again, the whole community. And that's also another important piece to know, because you can really start to see who your main audience is, even if you have 100,000 followers. Most of the time, you're not going to get 100,000 likes on a post even if you have 100,000 followers. So it's just about knowing who's online, when they're online, and getting that content out to them in a timely manner.
Yeah, and so I think I just learned something about hashtags that they come back and they become more popular. So I learned something. And it's so important to just be aware of that. How long do you want that communication on social media out there? But also when you're communicating with people, how long are you giving them to give you a response? So when we're looking at sales calls, and you're phoning somebody for a sales call and they're saying to you, you know, the timing's not right, can you give me a call tomorrow? You know, are you following up with that? Are you being deliberate around that? Are you sticking to that? If somebody says, give me a call at 12 o'clock tomorrow, or if somebody says, I'm busy now, are you being clear on when's a good time to call you back? Are you being clear in your communication around, you know, great, I understand it's not a good time. When would be a good time? So that you are creating that expectancy as to when you can phone people back, and you're being clear around that. And I think just around, it's such a key piece to just be aware of, are you clear in your communication? It's like, okay, cool, I'll phone you later. Well, when is later? Is that later in the week, later in the month, later in the year, later in the day? It's so important to just be clear and deliberate around your communication. So Shalene had a comment. She said, I've seen more South Africans promoting their own products via video and Facebook, and I checked out a special on leather handbags. Was I looking for that? No, but it was authentic. And I think that's such a key piece, is that always be authentic in your communication. And like Sully said, when you're doing video posts, people can see when you're authentic. People can see when you're being genuine. And same on the phone, people can hear it. And it's such a key piece is, are you being authentic in your pitch? Are you being clear on what it is that you're selling? Are you being clear on what it is that you want from the client? And such a key piece is, are you clear on what it is that your expectation from the client? Like, when are you going to phone me back? All those kind of things. Just get clear on those things. And yeah, in terms of social media, I think that's something too, is just to be clear on when are your posts. And I just know, like Sully mentioned, 7 a.m. is a great time for uncovering greatness, you know, but Sully has taken time to work out when's a great time to do those posts. But he started off by doing a set post all the time. He was very deliberate and clear on his communication. So Sully, maybe you can share with us just a little bit around, you know, setting up that clear time, like same time every day, not, you know, one day at 11 and one day at 6. And
yeah, I mean, I think that one thing I've learned is that you can really start to do that experimental posting once you figure out your system, right? So once you know that I'm going to be either way, I'm going to be communicating. You know that you have enough content to communicate anyway. Cool, you can now test it. But when you're starting out with, especially small pieces of content, look for one thing I did and I got very diligent with is learning key points. So understanding when are people most likely to check their social media. So I'll go for the morning, I'll go for their lunch break, and I'll go for probably just before bedtime. So that round about 7:30, 8 o'clock time, not bedtime, but they're kind of winding down. And I was diligent with that. And I started to see that, okay, wait, these 8 o'clock posts aren't working because for whatever reason, people aren't actually doing that. So cool, why am I posting at 8? I stopped doing that. So then I moved the time closer and closer and closer. So at the end of the day, I just realized that it is essential to find a rhythm that works for you. How are you going to communicate what you're going to communicate, and what does that actually look like, right? So it could be video, it could be an image, it could be an article, it could even be a audio piece. You can now do a voice note of whatever it is you choose to make a piece of content and put that out there and get whatever response you're looking for back. And I think that's one thing people kind of miss, is that there's so many different ways you can do content. There's so many different things that you can do, and there's so many different apps that you can do it on. Very basic apps that you can teach yourself how to do stuff. So I think that's essentially important of how you're going to communicate going forward. Having the right tools, obviously, a big part of that. Yeah, just in truth, also finding your voice. Whatever that voice is it's really essential, because it's going to be the thing that connects people to you. And then when people meet you, there's no disconnect. They can actually see. I mean, like, we've had it a few times where we've been told that people thought that it was Barry and Nicole posting the content themselves, actually doing it themselves. But that's because I took the time to understand their voice and how they speak and how they would deliver content. And the great thing for you is that you know how you do that, right? So now you just, for example, need to take the tools and techniques that I've given you, go implement it in your way, and you're good to go.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Sully. And yeah, you brought up a really great point. I know you spent a lot of time studying Barry and learning the language that he uses, and so that you could do the posts for him. And a lot of people have commented on that. It's like, oh, I thought it was Barry speaking. And it's like, no, it's actually Sully. But it's just because he took the time to learn the language that Barry and I would use when we're sharing posts. So, and that's where that being authentic is such a key piece, is because if Sully had gone and posted all of the stuff around the way he would post it, and then people come into our world and they come live and they're like, this is not the same, then, there's not that authenticity. So it is important in social media, especially, because I think that's one of the things that people are genuinely looking for, is that connection. And then they'll buy on that connection and that authenticity. So it's such an important piece to just be yourself, be authentic. Reti's question, how long should one allow to be able to see the impact on the post? So Sully, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, and that's actually a great question. So for me, this is something that works two ways. If you're going to go organically, I would honestly say consistently doing content, a month and a half. If you're consistently doing content, and this is like posting every single day, in a month and a half, you will start to see the change in engagement, the change in reach, the change in followers. You will start to see that. But if you want to, in truth, if you want to, let's just say, because this is what happens with some people, so I'll be honest with you and I'll put it out there. If you want to rapidly increase that, you're going to have to put money into Facebook or into Instagram or into LinkedIn, whatever platform you want to use, and you want to get more reach and get more engagements quickly. Truth be told, you're going to have to put money into it, right? And I don't think that it's a bad thing to put money into it. I really do not. But if you do not have a clear plan, so one, what are you communicating to? Who's your target audience? What do you communicate? Like, how do you communicate to them? And three, it doesn't have to be a crazy budget. People say that you have to put tens of thousands of rands into Facebook and Instagram to get what you want. You really don't. Because the truth is, as a small to medium-sized business owner, if I said to you, here's 10,000 new leads, you'd freak out. You'd be like, well, what am I supposed to do with 10,000 new leads now? Like, I was hoping for 20. So you now change your expectation and you start to get into a rhythm because like Nicole brought up such an important example there. So let's just say you want to run an ad for bringing in new leads, right? Where people fill out information and you now have their email address and their cell phone number, so you can contact them. If you do not communicate with that person in 24 hours, they've forgotten about you. Whatever it is you get, you could have given them something for free, whatever that is. Because let's just say, even if that communication is email, it gets pushed down because they're getting other emails and they're getting other emails. And I know that one key thing that's worked for us, if we contact somebody over the phone in 24 hours and we contact them when they're hot, we have a higher chance of bringing that person into our world. And people can actually see, wow, this is a proper organization because I just gave you my lead and you're already contacting me. Definitely people I want to work with. It's a lot better than you calling in 2 weeks' time. Hey, you remember when you downloaded? No, I don't remember when I downloaded that. I downloaded a lot of stuff. We had that so many times. People say, I downloaded a lot of stuff. But we never communicated anything with them for that long. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to happen. So I think you've got to be, so when you're going paid content, you've got to be clear of what could come with it. That could get you a lot of traffic to your website, for example. And if your website is not built properly, communicated too much, people come in, website crashes, now you're in a whole different ballgame. So you've got to be prepared. I always try and lead people in the favor, especially because this is the direction that Facebook and a lot of the platforms are going in terms of paid content. I always advise that you must have it as part of your marketing budget, but it shouldn't put a hole in your pocket. It should be able to see something. It should be able to be something that you can see a small return on investment in it in a good amount of time. And I think that's what most small, medium-sized businesses are looking for right now.
Awesome. Thank you, Sully. And, you know, it's such a great point around, and that's where you deliver a communication, you send it out, they're ready, and then are you ready for what's coming back? Are you ready to be able to, if you're getting new leads, are you ready to get on the phone and call those leads? Because as Sully said, I mean, we've experienced it when we've given away free books, we've given away ebooks, all sorts of things. And you phone the person when they're hot, they're there. If you wait more than 24 hours, it's kind of like, oh, did I do that? And then we've had it when we phone people just, oh, they downloaded a book. We don't have the dates. We don't know when they downloaded, and we're phoning them going, you know, did you download it? Have you been able to read it? And people go, what? Like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. So are you ready to receive what comes back at you? And so it's when you start driving leads, it's such a key thing is that, are you ready to deal with those leads there and then? And it's, I think in terms of communication, we're willing to ask the questions, we're willing to put stuff out, but then are we ready for what comes back at us? And whether it's just a verbal conversation you're having with somebody or it's on social media. So is this helpful to you guys? Yes. Okay, awesome. That is great. And then Sully, something else we were talking about is just because you can be a great communicator in terms of speaking, and you're a great communicator speaking, it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be a great communicator on social media. So maybe you can just share some of your thoughts around that and experiences.
Yeah, I think that, you know, some people work better in person. They, some people just, for example, some people may not, yes, do video for your reach and engagements and how it's going to really help your page and your business. But once you start to realize that, wait, people just aren't connecting with me over video, there's a disconnect. And I've seen that happen many times where people think that they can easily transfer what they do in real life onto social, but it's a completely different ballgame. It's a completely different way of communicating, right? So for me, sometimes let's just say within a post, I would not, if I would sometimes go with just the video, no copy, just the video. That's all I'm posting. Let the video do the talking, because I could actually affect how people consume it, right? So it could be a video that you did, Nicole, around processing. Now I want to come in and put in my own communication about what I think I understood from what you say. And then now there's a disconnect between the two things. And more than likely what happens is people read it, they go down, they press play, they're like, this is not the same thing, and then they scroll away. So why I try to do that is because, and sometimes you even just need to direct people and say, click play. And you can experience that person by yourself and how you're gonna now deal with them going forward. And I think that's one thing people miss. And you've always got to figure out, well, what can I change and tweak to be able to communicate on social the way I do in real life? So what is the thing that I can, oh, well, if I have to do it in images, then so be it. If I have to do it in audio, then so be it. You've always got to figure out ways to do that.
Yeah, thank you. And it is such a great point. I know myself, it's very frustrating when you read something and then you click the play button and then it's off on a different tangent. You're like, no, this is not what I was expecting. And immediately, because I disconnect, because it's not what I thought it was. So it's such a key point, is just be aware of that, what you're typing and what you're actually, the videos, it's aligned. And a great way is just to get some feedback from people around you. Are you asking people what they think? Are you asking your audience? Are you asking your friends, hey, like this, watch this, give me some feedback. I'd love to know what you think. And that's how you're going to get that, like Sully was talking about, are you aware of that you're not great on video? Are you aware, or, do you think you're not great on video and everybody loves you on video? It's such an important piece to get feedback from people around you, and objective feedback. People that are willing to give you, not your friends who are going, oh yeah, that's great. Oh yeah, no, I love it. And meanwhile they're thinking, oh, that's awful. No, it's important to get objective feedback from the, people in business, and, just in terms of people that ask them for feedback, so that you can get genuine feedback as to is it congruent with the words and the video, or do people connect with you on video? Do not, some of the things you could do better. So I really would encourage you from that sense to do that, because it's like Sully said, sometimes we know we're really good in person, but yet we're taking up a new piece and we're still learning to understand it. And then also something that I have learned a lot around is around presence. When you are present in person, you can get away with a lot more. Where you can kind of look over here and people don't notice. But if you are not looking at the camera to communicate directly to the people that are on Zoom or wherever, they notice. If you are, I signed up for a course, and within the first hour, I was like, I actually lost interest, because the presenter must have had his camera was up here and his screen must have been down here, and he spent the whole time looking at his screen. And it was so obvious he was looking down the whole time that I actually lost interest in the course, because his laptop must have been lower down. And whereas in a room, when it's live, it's not so noticeable. So are you making eye contact when you're communicating? Are you actually present, looking at the people, even though your laptop may be over here or down there, or but it's so important to make sure that you are connecting with your audience directly by looking at the camera, not at the screen or wherever else. And it's such a small thing. So feedback like that is great. Hey, I noticed that you're looking down all the time, or I noticed that, the light's not great. So it is important to get that feedback, because it's things that you may not see when you're filming, but you'll notice it when you're watching. So yeah, Sully, anything else you would like to share with everybody around social media and communication?
Yeah, I think you have with social, you have that opportunity of also getting back negative communication. So, we've had it multiple times, been called multiple amazing names. But you've also got to be you got to be prepared to shake that off, because there's that other side of it's the same as that, the A and B. That person wasn't ready to receive that communication. They weren't ready to be called out. So you know what? My response to you is going to be, you can go fly a kite. So that's what they're ready to communicate to you. Guess what? You don't have to get into a war of words with them. And I think that's one of the things that people get stuck on. And you may think of it as, well, that's going to be so bad for my business and so on and so forth. Actually, if you just a nice little thank you and you keep it moving, because you know what the best thing about that is now it's, instead of it being one comment on your page, it's now 2 comments on your page. And now Facebook is going to look at it and go, hey, well, this is quite an engaging post. Let's show it to more people. So that person came in along and helped you, and you just flipped their negative communication into positive communication. And I think that's just, one of the best ways to look at it when it comes to social. Yes, it can be a noisy place. I can never deny that. There's 1.2 billion pieces of content going out every minute. There's a lot of content going out. It's noisy. But everybody, if you guys can understand that there is a community and a space for everybody to run a business, and be a part of community. And I think that's one of the best things about social, that like how with social media being created, it's allowed us to be a global community. As crazy as this pandemic was, as humans, we've never been closer together. And I think that this is now also a time where we need to take these things and move it on to the next level and go, okay, how do we use it for real good? And when I say real good, is you may help one person. That is massively important. That makes more of a difference too, because that person may help 10 people. There's so many ways that this all plays out. So I think when you guys are ready to communicate and ready to get your message out there, yeah, just be authentic with it and focus on making sure that you're trying to do more good in the world than harm. And I think that will just come back to you tenfold, not just on social, but like in life in general.
Yeah, and thank you, Sully. And it's such a powerful point around, are you ready to receive what comes back at you? And even when you're delivering communication verbally, you're going to get stuff back at you, things that sometimes we're not prepared for. Somebody's going to give you feedback, in terms of, sometimes the customer's going to yell at you, and are you ready for that feedback, and can you turn it into a positive? Are you reacting to it emotionally, or are you reacting to it, just with that calmness, going, great, so where is this coming from? So it is so important to just, doesn't matter how the communication comes back at you, are you ready to receive that communication and look at it for what it truly is? Like Sully said, on social media, great, it's an extra comment, and you can just say thank you for your feedback, and now you got 2 comments, and it can use it as a positive. And then when it's coming back at you verbally, are you doing the same thing, going, great, thank you for your feedback? and then allowing that person's emotions to calm down so you can have a genuine conversation. So it's just so important to just be aware of the mood level and the tone. And, you know, on social media, there's, it's so important to just not look at the exclamation marks as somebody's tone, because often people do that. They go, oh, you were so angry at me. And it's like, really? I'm like, no, I was excited. I'm like, so just, it's important to just be aware of, you know, those things get skewed on social media, on WhatsApps. So, and that's where emojis are great, because you can actually see, you can use the right tone. So yeah, it would encourage you as well to use emojis on your posts, because it does allow people to see your tone, as opposed to exclamation marks, which you don't know if it's excitement or anger or frustration or irritation. So yeah, Sully, anything you want to say on tone around social media?
Yeah, honestly, those emojis can be lifesavers. I think that's definitely something I've seen as well. You know, just like, for example, running a competition, something as simple as putting balloons and stuff catches people's attention, lets them know it's a competition, and it just makes their lives a little bit easier. Like exactly as you're saying, Nicole, it is a great way to convey tone. But if you're not going to use emojis and do stuff like that, you can do video. I think that's one of the best ways to convey tone and emotion. If you can't really see people, so do video, and I think you'll really be able to see how much of a difference that makes. And I mean, I think so. Like, so for example, to Stuart's point, it's about driving. If you're gonna drive people to your Facebook, for example, you have to give them content that they want to consume. And one of the best ways to do that is to find out, well, what do you guys want to hear from me? Like, and it's people say that, how could you ask that? You should know what content to put out. But yeah, I know what content I want to put out for you to see, but I'd like to know what content you would like to see from me, you know, because that's just the best way to actually do it, because now you're serving your community right there and there. I know I need to come to your page for how to bake cookies. Cool. I know where to find how to bake cookies. I'm happy. Let's do that. So people get that part confused. And what you can do is now you can play with both sides. So this is what I would teach you about how to bake cookies. But now you actually ask me how to bake muffins. So here's a how to bake muffins video. Everybody wins. Now you got two pieces of content that get to go out, and now you get to reach more people. So that would just that for me is just probably one of the best ways to convey tone is and emotion, and to be able to really tell a story where people connect to is through video. And obviously with that you can then move on to your adding in musics and stuff like that. But that's like when you decide to get advanced with it, because that adds another element of emotion. But it's entirely up to you how you decide to play with that.
Great. Thank you, Sully. And then Stuart's question is, I'll just read what he said. I'm not a regular daily Facebook visitor, information overload. The only time I go on Facebook is when I am a member of an accountability group or ad that leads to Facebook or shared link from friends and groups. Same is true on Instagram, Twitter, and all social media. How do you get people to your Facebook? I presume that regular posts of value that would provide useful will bring people back. Tips on getting your target audience to your page and the first few times until they're hooked. So I think, yeah, for me, Sully, I would say the biggest thing is regular content, same time, and pretty much that exactly like Reddy was asking around how long for, and 6 weeks. Same time, regular content, and yeah, anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think one key was also, if you have customers, ask them what content they'd like to see from you on social media. If you see people come into a store, or you have clients that you see over Zoom, ask them what content they'd like to see from you, because they're your target audience. They've already bought from you. So there's no other clearer indication of what you would be able to see from those type of people. And that would be I think that's also a good way to really bring people back, is just speak to your target audience who's already there. They've already purchased. You have a better chance of actually getting a clear idea of what type of content to deliver than if you just reach it out on Facebook, for example.
Yeah, awesome. And it's around that whole thing around communication is very much like, what does the client want? What are their wants? What are their needs? And are you meeting them? And you won't know that until everyone's left your page if you're not meeting it. So it's a really great idea. Just ask them, what is it that you guys would like to see? And is there anything you'd like to see more of? And once you have that, then you can start, promoting that. And I just know from video posts, also watch the numbers. Have a look at, are you putting your post out there, and are you watching how many shares you get, how many likes you get, are you keeping track of those numbers and seeing what works? Because a lot of times we just put videos out there, we put posts out there, but we're not actually checking the numbers on the posts. Are you actually looking and saying what post worked well? What content worked well? What video got the most views? What was I talking about? What did I do in that video? Did I demonstrate something? Was it because whatever it was? So it is important to just be aware of what's the feedback on the posts, because it's really easy to just share posts all the time, but are you looking for what your audience are? What are they liking and sharing of your posts? So anything you want to add on that, Salif? Because I know that's something I've learned a lot from you, is to check the numbers.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, that's an extremely important thing I learned from Barry. It's like your business. It's exactly like your business, right? You don't know what you need to tweak. If your business is running at a loss, you look at it and you're like, okay, these products aren't selling. You need to get rid of those products. They're not working, so you need to do something else. It's the same with social. If you can look and you're going, people have come, I've been doing videos for this long and I've seen, okay, let's look at the videos. Okay, number one, the videos aren't 3 minutes long. Facebook really favors that. They'd really like it if you did videos of that length, because what they're going to now do is push it out to more people, give you more reach, give you more engagement. That's number one. Number two is just basically, what are you now trying to achieve? Because that's what the numbers will also tell you. I'm actually trying to get likes, and that now goes down to what you're saying in the video as well. Hey guys, can you like my page? If you say that at the end, you're probably going to get that if you actually ask people, right? Click on the link below to go to my website. You have a better chance of people clicking below and going to your website. So it's just about how you're going to communicate and what you're going to say to people. And I think that's just massively important.
And Sully, do you want to answer Reti's question? Keeping an eye on the post, is that once a month or once a week? Or is that just all the time?
For me, that's non-stop. That's the way this works. It goes on. But I would say check it weekly. So you can have a look at it on Sunday. So Facebook, great thing with Facebook and even Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn is that they give you a 7-day view. So you can see what worked. And they'll even show you what posts worked, what posts didn't work. They won't show you what posts didn't work, but if you look at the numbers and compare, you can be like, well, that didn't work, so I need to tweak that. So yeah, 7 days is great, and then you can look at it again over a month period. So you can see that what you need to change for the next month, for example.
Yeah, awesome. And it's the language of business is numbers, and so social media is no different. And just like in terms of when you are speaking to anybody, when you're out talking to people, what are they interested in? What you have to say? It's so important to just be aware of the things that you're talking about. What's happening? What's everybody talking about? So yeah, and communication is an incredibly powerful tool when you use it correctly. So, and just social media is no different. It can get you great results when you use it the right way. And it can also, if you invest a lot of money into it and you have no idea what you're doing, it can be a very painful experience. So it is just important to just be aware of communication is powerful when you use it correctly. So yeah, and just I'm really, really grateful for each one of you for joining us this evening. Before we start to end off, does anybody have any questions? Okay, so has this been valuable to you guys? Awesome. Okay, great. So yeah, thank you. So just a reminder for those of you that are watching on Facebook and for those of you that have not registered for our Sales Explosion, we have a Sales Explosion program coming up on the 16th and 17th of June. It is pretty much, 2 weeks away. And so if you have not registered, it is going to be live. We are really, really excited to be having a live event. And we'd love for you to join us. And I don't have the link, Sully. If you could put the link in there, that would be awesome. But we'd love for you to join us on that date live in person. And we've also launched Greatness University. It is on Facebook, so you can have a look on Find Greatness University on Facebook. We'd love for you to be part of that. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us at info@uncoveringgreatness.co.za. We'd love to have you reach out to us if you've got any questions. Michaela and Sully are there to help. So, but yeah, before I end off, just really want to say thank you to Sully for being with us tonight. It has been awesome learning from him. I always learn from him, and just grateful that he's willing to share tips for us. And any last questions before we end off? Okay, great. So Sully, thank you for putting that link into the chat box. Really appreciate that. And for the Sales Explosion and Greatness University. And yeah, just Barry will be back next week. And Stuart says he doesn't know how to do the emojis on Zoom chat. But yeah, the biggest thing is, just keep doing it and somebody will show you. Shalene's got a smiley face there. So at the bottom, there's a little button that says reactions with this little smiley face at the bottom on Zoom, and that will give you emoji faces. But thank you all for investing in your time, your own selves tonight. It has been great having all of you join us, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you back here next week, same time, same place, and learning more about your business. So, Sully, any final words?
No, enjoy your social, guys. Enjoy your social.
Yes, lots of emojis. Have fun with it. I love the heart, Stuart. Great job. So have a great evening, everybody. Thank you for being here, and we will see you back here next week.